Hello everyone, and today we're going to be taking a look at the DMX English releases and doing a little bit of a shell swap. So the blue and red DMX English ones are basically the same as the Japanese releases in terms of the shell color. So I thought, because I already have the original Japanese releases, I thought I would do a little bit of a shell swap for these two. So I'm going to be just swapping the frames and the buttons. So I've not opened up a DMX before. I've only opened up the original Digimon as well as the DM20th. So I'm hoping this is as easy as the DM20th in terms of you just kind of pull the shell apart, or rather that's the English release of the DM20th. The Japanese release of the DM20th is a little bit harder, which I have done when I painted my custom, but the English release of the DM20th is super easy. So I'm going to be using my trusty screwdriver set here, which is, it's the screwdriver set I always recommend whenever someone asks me what's a good screwdriver set. It's in a nice magnet case, and it's got a bunch of different options. And I know none of their names because I don't know, I just don't know the names. Like, some people say, hey, does this screwdriver set have this screwdriver? And I'm like, I don't know. You'll have to find out. So I'm probably just going to take the battery out first because these are unopened Digimon. So, because I haven't opened them up, which would make sense. That's the definition of unopened. I'll just remove that. Oop, and flick the battery out. There we are. Well, first of all, orange board. That's different. And I'm just going to put that case back on. And now I have a battery, which I will put out of the way, so I know that that is a full battery. So here we are. Here is our blue DMX. And I'm going to angle the camera a little bit down because my hands hurt and I don't want to lift them up for the whole video. Anyway, so first of all, the initial screws are always really tight. They use a glue to hold them in place. So these internal screws just need a little bit of force. So you kind of poke it in, and I'm not sure if that the microphone picked up, but there's like a little bit of a crack when the I guess the glue loses place. It's not a lot of glue, but it's just to keep those screws in. But any decent amount of force will loosen it up. And again, this screwdriver is super duper easy to spin. Look, this one's a bit, there we are, because I can just sort of spin it like this and hold it in place in my hand like so. There we are. So we've got those, and then I just put that over here. And yep, it's the same as the English DM20th, which is super convenient because it means that the speaker's like attached to the board here, same with the English DM20th, instead of being attached to the back plate with a cable running between the two, which I always get really, really nervous whenever I'm opening up a Japanese DM20th or when I'm opening up a DMOG, like in that video where I swapped the parts from the DM20th and the Digimon Original. I was opening up my version 6 Digimon Original, so I had a lot of fear. I don't particularly like opening up my virtual pets because I break them. And I don't think I've ever broken a virtual pet by opening it up, but I am forever frightened of doing so. I think these screws have to all come out all the way. Another handy thing about this screwdriver case is that I can just put them in there, and it's a magnetized case, so I don't have to worry about losing the screws because they just they get magnetized because that's how magnets work. And I put those to the side, and then we'll just lift this up. And then we've got the usual screen here with the background, which if you wanted to customize it further, you could change that background for something from a different Digimon, or you could just design your own, and you can have your own custom background, but that's not what we're doing here today. And we've got the buttons here, and when we take out the screen, there's like a screen holder there as well, which is always incredibly important when we're taking things apart to make sure we observe exactly the right way that things are positioned. That's pointed up, and this one is facing the right way, because if you put the screen the wrong way, it's not good. So I always make sure to take note, and then I immediately forget, which I think I did in my DM20th and DMOG custom video. So we'll put that to the side for now while we open up our next one. I'm just going to clear the area just a little bit, because if it's a clean space, I'll risk making mistakes. The risk of making a mistake is less, and apparently the risk of me not being able to put two words together is more. I swear I opened this before to make it easier for myself, but apparently I did not. There we are. And the same story for the red one. Pop that off. There's our red one, and then I will immediately put this out of the way, just so it's easier for me. There we go. And I'll probably make sure to keep the parts together, and also obviously the keychain comes off when you open it. And I tipped that over too much, and I'm losing screws because I tipped it over. That was smart of me. Yeah, I leave the screws in the back plate just because it's less to lose. And then we have our red one. So tab out, and we'll just take the battery out. Nope, I am apparently failing at opening the battery door. There we go. And then I always use the screwdriver to help me. And the inside of the board is, interestingly, red. So that's also, I guess, if you wanted to go even crazier with the shell swaps and just do like if you really wanted the blue roster on in a black shell, you could very much just change this part. And obviously you take off this part as well, which you can also customize, because if you just take that off and swap it, you can do that, but I'm leaving out that there. And yeah, so interestingly, red board. But yeah, we'll be keeping the shells to their right one, the correct ones. So yeah, it's just a matter of unscrewing and putting that little bit of extra force at the start, just to weaken that holding glue. I don't know why I'm surprised, but the screws are the same color in both versions. I don't know why I'd expect them to just like, nope, let's paint the screws different colors. I guess that's not that absurd. Use titanium screws, and you can anodize them and have like purple or blurple or something colored screws. That'd be neat. Nope, apparently I did not unscrew that enough. But yeah, fairly happy that these are so easy to take apart, the same as the English DM20ths, because I'm lazy. And then we get rid of these screws and obviously the keychain, which falls off. And I'm actually going to put these screws separate to the other one, so I'm not going to use that in the case. Just because, I mean, there's literally no difference between the screws, like I could just mix and match them. But, I don't know, I'm just going to keep that the way it is. Makes no difference. But, I don't know. I'm just going to keep it like that. There we go. Put that little guy away. Again, it's not as bad as in previous videos, but apologies for the state of my hands. Freya is 12 weeks old now, but still very bitey. So let's take a quick look at these boards. So yep, the orange one, which is an interesting way that they went with orange for the white and blue one, and red for the red and black, which, you know, makes sense that it's red. And the buttons are stayed attached to the board, so we'll just plop those away. Not that we really need to put them back where they belong, but you know, anyway. Alright, so let's do this. So first of all, buttons, those are fairly easy to change. You just kind of like pop them out and they come out really easily, and then you can pop it back in. I'm not popping them in yet, just because I will be removing this, and sometimes removing the frame requires a little bit of force. Interestingly, this is coming off all in one piece because I will mess it up otherwise. So you always need to know that the arrow points up, and I'm keeping that in one piece, and hopefully it stays like that. And the reason for me taking that out is so I can release the frame. It's a little bit in the shadow there, but you just need to pop it out slightly. You can use your finger, or like what I'm using is a screwdriver. And you just need to apply any little bit of force, flip that up just a little bit, and then I just pushed it back in with the back of my finger, and then pop it out like that. And that's how you get the frame off. And then we'll just do the same story here with the screen, and then apply a little bit of force on either side to release the frame. And then we've got the frame off. And then to pop it back in, you kind of just apply a little bit of pressure to the top part and then slide in the bottom part. And you don't really need to apply that much pressure, just kind of slide it in and mess it up like I'm doing apparently. It's probably because I'm holding the screwdriver. So yeah, you slide it in there, pop it in, and then apply a little bit of force to get that popped in. And then we have the red frame on the blue one. And then the buttons, you just kind of just make them line up, and it's pretty hard to mess this up because they won't go in any other way, because you need the reset button, which is joined to that. And then the screen, which is kind of also hard to get these two confused, because one has the black bracket and one has the white bracket, so that makes it kind of easy to not get that confused. So it's white to white and black to black. And then, yeah, there it is. So fairly easy. And then putting it back together is just the reverse. Speaker and battery go on the back plate. And obviously that lines up. It's kind of hard to mess that up as well. And the backside of the screen looks like that. So yeah, it won't really go in any other way because of how the screws are positioned. And then you make sure you have the keychain in visible sight, because every time without fail, and I think I even mentioned this in my DM20th video, that I always mess that up to make sure I got the right holes for this. Yes, it's this one. But yeah, I will without fail just forget that the keychain exists, and then I will put it all back together, and then I'll look down and realize that the keychain has yet to be put back in. And yeah, I remember in the DM20th video, I was like, and you got to make sure to not forget the keychain. And then 5 minutes later, when I was putting it back together, I forgot the keychain. So that definitely happens. Also, I didn't mention it while I was doing it, but these screws don't have that little bit of holding glue like the outer screws, the negatives of having a magnetic screwdriver. Yeah, so the inside ones don't appear to have the same holding glue that the outside ones have. So you don't really have to apply pressure when you're removing them. And I didn't mention it because I wasn't applying pressure, so I didn't feel the need to. And yes, everything is magnetized in that little box. Yeah, you can get this the screwdriver set from Amazon. I believe it's called like you'll find it if you search for Xiaomi screwdriver set. It's made by the same company that makes the phones. And I got it for my birthday from my partner a few years ago. And oh, woof, almost did it. And then we slide on the keychain, which is just attached to the hook. And then you kind of position that over it, clip it back in, and then do those screws up nice and tight. And I'm not going to start this one up, but I would always recommend putting in batteries, like fresh batteries, or if you just did what I did and unboxed it and then immediately opened it up, I would always recommend testing it on the basis that sometimes if you don't do the screws up, or if you put the screen the wrong way around, obviously the screen won't work as well, and there'll be a little bit of issues. But easily fixed is just you open it up again. So yeah, let's do that now. And it's easily fixed just to open it up, but it's always just something I recommend just doing, even if you're not going to play with it. And I suck at screws apparently. There we go. And then you just slide in the battery, and then you check that it's all working, sound's working, buttons working. Easy peasy. And then you can take the battery out. But yeah, it's just something I always recommend trying, just because you don't know that if you've done it incorrectly until you start it up. And then that means that you can just say, it's done, and it's customized. And there it is, the red, blue, and white. And then of course, same story for the black one. You just position the frame, you slide in the bottom, then slide in the side, and then that side, clip it in, it's all insecure. Insecure? It's all in and secure. There we are, and then we'll do the frame. And of course, the arrow is pointing up, because it's an up arrow. And the easy way to tell is the reset hole there, for the reset button, is on the bottom. And then of course, you slide in the buttons there. You make sure you locate the keychain because you put it somewhere else. There we are. You push in the screen, and then you push in the board, and then of course the screws. So fairly easy, especially with how they've set up the board and shell, basically just like a jigsaw puzzle, and you don't have to worry about any of those loose wires like you do with the older Digimon, which I've never broken, which is good. But yeah, I've not really opened up many virtual pets. I opened up the Nicocha because it didn't start when I got it, but that would probably be the preferable state for a Nicocha to be, which is not working, because it's more fun when it's not working because you don't have to use it. And then another one I opened up was I think my meats I tried to fix because the screen had like a line through it. I didn't fix it, but I gave it a go. I just thought, oh, maybe there's a little bit of dirt or something. Nope, just arrived dead, or the screen kind of broken. But Japan Yumon's pretty good. I messaged them and they were like, we can either replace this or you can get a refund. And I was kind of like, well, I mean, I don't really need 2 meatses. So I was like, I don't really want a second one. They're like, okay, full refund. And I was like, okay, that's surprising, because like they didn't even ask me to send it back. They were like, you don't have to send it back, you can keep it. So I guess, I mean, there's not much they can do with a broken thing, I guess. And, you know, they would have to pay for return postage, so it probably worked out to be cheaper for them to let me keep it. But, yeah, that was super nice of them. I didn't expect them to just say, oh, I almost forgot the keychain again, that I could keep it. And what else did I open? I opened the Dinky Dino because the buttons weren't working, and I used the trick with silver foil just underneath the buttons, and that worked. And there's also my Digimon Pendulum Original 4.5, which has stripped screws. So the only way to get batteries in is to open up the entire body and just sort of slide them in, which is kind of annoying. And once lockdown ends, I've been meaning to go to Mr. Minute and get them to remove that screw, because they did with my Mothra Tamagotchi and they didn't charge me for it. So that was super nice of them. So I need to do that with, I've got a few strip screws on a few of my Digimon. And let's check out this, the screen. Okay, that works, buttons work. Coolios. And then we take that battery out. And we do it back up. And there we go, we have our custom DMXs. Looking pretty good, I think. And yeah, I'll probably be doing another video soonish where I swap parts between the DM20th and the DMX, both English releases. But yeah, so that worked out pretty well. I'm glad that the DMX English release has the same easy to swap system, so I don't have to panic about breaking anything. But yeah, so there it is, and of course, as I mentioned, you can switch the backgrounds if you like. I don't care enough, I just wanted them to be different from the Japanese releases. So yeah, there we are. Looking pretty cool, I think. And yeah, so let me know what color combinations you're going to be doing. There's a lot of different color combinations when you include the DMX 20s and the DMX 20s, the Digital Monster 20ths and the DMX English releases. Lots of different options, and of course I'll be doing that in the next video, which I'll probably record today or shortly, I'm not sure. But anyway, so let me know what kind of color combinations that you've done or that you're interested in doing or that you'd be interested to see. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye!